Hello YouTube, good afternoon my dear subscribers. Today I will be preparing my favorite dessert, and that is baklava with walnuts and honey. Everything what we need for the recipe is on the table right now, and without further waiting, let's get started. I have a mixing bowl ready, I have a whisk, and I will immediately take 300 grams of sour cream. That is not really the one with lots of fat. That is just a medium fat with 17% of fat. I can pour this to the mixing bowl right away. Also, I want to note that the sour cream I left on the kitchen, on the table since yesterday's evening, so this is very important to have the sour cream of room temperature, because for this recipe I will also take a 300 gram of real butter. Butter is also soft, it is not necessarily melted, but it is just soft. Also room temperature butter. I like to have everything measured precisely, so I have my kitchen scales ready and I will take 300 grams, just like so, 300 grams of soft butter. And because we need to mix the butter and sour cream, you better have both of these ingredients at room temperature, and also a little bit of salt, just like so. And that's all what we need for the butter. We don't need sugar, we don't need eggs. You can also use your hands, that's the best way. Also for this dough I will also need 300 grams of flour, and because the flour of course is room temperature, you better have all your ingredients of the room temperature. That's exactly what I did. Otherwise the cold sour cream will not really start mixing well with the butter. Butter will get cold and then you will struggle to mix ingredients very well. Okay, now it's very important to sieve the flour. That is 300 grams right now, and I also have a little bit of flour standing by on my table. Important part if you are really mixing with your hand is do not mix the dough too long when you do it with your hand. Unlike the spatula, your hand is hot. In case you really mix too long with your hands, you will start melting the butter, and this will lead you to willing to add more and more flour. And if you do that, then your dough will not be soft, but it will be stiff, and it will not be elastic because of excessive amount of flour. So do not mix too long with your hands, just mix enough to let the ingredients cohese together, and that's it. Now I will clean my hands a little bit with the spatula. I will continue with the spatula only, and later I will place this on my table and I will continue mixing there. Once done, I will split dough on the 3 pieces, and I will put that in my freezer. And once that is done, the dough needs to stay in the freezer, in the fridge for like 15 minutes, and then it will give me enough time to prepare the walnuts and the honey. Alright, 300 grams is not enough. I will add a little bit more, 100 grams of flour more. And again, I don't sieve all the flour, all the 100 grams right away. I mix a little bit. Now you see it's enough. I mixed like a half, 50 grams. That's enough. Now I can place this on the table. I can sieve a little bit of flour here. Now I can clean my hands, I can clean the bowl. It's better to have it in this way with a little bit less flour than eventually it will take, and add the flour gradually. We used 300 right away, then we added 50 grams more. Now I'm using the remaining because I don't want to make a dough stiff. I need it and I want it to be really soft and flexible. Now I need a little bit more, and I need to be careful to avoid mixing too long and making the dough to ask me more and more flour. So I'm really careful with the dough, and I'm really careful with the amount of flour I'm adding. Just a little bit more on the table. I can clean my tools. I will not need them anymore. I can collect all the remaining parts. I can also do like so and clean my hands like so. It's no problem. I washed my hands carefully before I started, so it's no problem. Alright, now we are talking. Alright, that will be enough. So 100 grams extra in addition to 300 grams which I started initially with, and the dough looks like exactly what I wanted. Now the dough does not stick to my hands anymore, and that is exactly what you need to achieve. You need to mix it and add flour until the moment when it does not stick to your hands anymore, and at the same time it does not stick much to the silicone mat. Okay, that's what I need. I will divide it onto 3 pieces first. I will use my kitchen scale again. 950 grams, so I will need 320 grams. I will roll the dough on the 3 pieces like this, roughly, and I could say that maybe this is 1/3. 300 grams exactly. I need 320. Okay, it's 320 here, and I need one more 320 here and 320 here. Just to finish up, I will take a little bit more of flour. I will sieve onto each piece a little bit, just like so. I will make 3 individual balls. Actually, it's better to make rectangular. I will show you. First I will mix. Now I can make it nice and smooth. Each individual ball I can make it nice and smooth, because this is the final part right before it goes to the freezer. That's it. You see, it's even, very soft, it does not stick to my hands. That's what I need. So it's one little bit of flour like so, and we keep it here. I will finish the second one. Just put your hand like this and start rolling. You can make it with 2 hands at the same time. Now the second part is ready. Nice and smooth from all the sides and very soft. Ready. And the third part, the third ball. Is ready as well. Okay, I'm not going to add any more flour. That's exactly what I wanted to achieve. Just a little bit more, because I will wrap this now in a plastic foil and I will put that into the fridge. Now I will take the plastic foil and I will individually wrap. So at this moment it's better to make kind of rectangle like this, so, and wrap. And in this shape you need to place that into the freezer. It will be enough to let the dough rest for around 15 minutes if you really want to cook the baklava right away, because otherwise if you let it stay longer the butter will start freezing, it will get hard, and when eventually rolling the dough you will feel a little bit of inconvenience. However, if you want to make enough baklava and keep it available for the next day or for the next week or for the next month or for the next special occasion, you can also prepare as many separate bowls as you like and keep it in a freezer. Alright, I'm done with the dough. That was it. So the dough is ready. The dough is taking some proper rest, and I will prepare the walnuts for the filling. I think that's the way it's called. Before you start, you need to prepare your oven. If you have electric oven, I would like to say that I prefer to have all the sides of electric oven turned on. So I will set it for 220 degrees, and I will bake eventually the baklava around 30-40 minutes with some checks in between, but I will explain that later. So right now just set your oven for 220 degrees. Right here I have 500 grams of walnuts. We will also need 100 grams of walnuts, but this time we will keep them in one piece. We will not chop them, but we will just split them on bigger pieces like this, or maybe just keep the half intact and use it just like so for decoration. And this is a manual kitchen combine. I have some knives inside. I will need to chop the walnuts, but I don't need them to be extremely fine, and I don't need them to be big pieces. Alright, also for the filling we will need sugar. And we will need 3 eggs, and I separated egg white and egg yolk. And for the filling we will need egg white, and egg yolk we will take later. If you have like a meat mincer, it will also work. If you don't have anything, you can just use your knife. If you don't want to use your knife, or you can just put the walnuts in between 2 pieces of baking paper, and with the rolling pin you can just squeeze them. It will also work. Okay, that's the kind of grade I will need. Right, you see? Now the second part. Alright, that's perfect. Now I will need to add sugar, and the way I add sugar, the way I know how much to add, I will explain you. So there was no any sugar in our dough, it was only butter, sour cream and salt. And I put the bowl on the scales, and I will add let's say 250 grams. I will mix, and you need to be able to see the sugar in the mixture. But before we check, we need to mix through thoroughly. It was 250 grams already. To my eye it looks okay, but what I also like to do is I take a little bit and I try. Of course it's sweet, but we need it to be a little bit too sweet, because eventually we will layer the nuts in between the layers of dough, and dough has no sugar, and that's why it must be a little bit sweeter than you would normally like. So 350 grams of sugar is going to be enough. Now in the mixture of walnuts and sugar I add 3 egg whites, and what egg white does, that it will keep this mixture of walnuts and sugar nicely together. It will make it a little bit sticky. We will also need 100 grams of walnuts, but this time we will keep them in one piece. We will not chop them, but we will just split them on bigger pieces like this, or maybe just keep the half intact and use it just like so for decoration. Alright, so now my dough is very well rested. It is not a stone hard. I did not want it to be stone hard because I still need to make it right now. And I will roll each of the pieces. The thickness we are looking for is around 3-4 millimeters. I would say right in between 3.5. And I need rectangular pieces because I will be baking on this baking sheet. Of course I will dust with the flour. Perfect. And a little bit over. So I have a heavy rolling pin, and you need to let the rolling pin do the job. Don't press hard against the dough. And the way I would like to roll, and the way is proper way, you place the rolling pin at the center of the dough. At the beginning I would like to also hit it gently, just like so, to make a bigger circle at the beginning. Eventually I will need a rectangular, but gently. You see how it goes? It's very flexible. Now I place my rolling pin at the center. I start rolling away from me, then I leave the rolling pin, place it again at the center, and then I roll towards me, lift again, place on the center and away from me, and I repeat on the center, to the side, back to the center, to the other side, back to the center, to the other side, back to the center. And that's the way I roll any kind of dough, whether this is for pizza or for baklava or anything. My oven is at the moment preparing. It's already nice and hot. That is the thickness, I would say, that what we need. Now it's 4 millimeters. Here is a little bit thicker, and here is also thicker than we need. So I will continue a little bit more at these sides. Also I will stretch a bit more, and I will also make it look like rectangular. Maybe I need to dust a little bit more, just like so. I can also flip it just like so, and dust it a little bit more to let it stretch instead of sticking to the silicone mat. You see, now it goes really well. Now let's check. Very good here, very good. Now I can remove the excessive flour just by shaking it a little bit. Now I can take the dough, roll it over my rolling pin like so, and holding my baking paper up, and that's what we need. So over here now I will start with the first layer of the filling. You see, I can make like this. Hop. Now I take my filling, walnuts, sugar and egg white, and I will need eventually to spread it over the dough evenly. Eventually it will be 3 layers of dough because we have 2 more left, and it will be only 2 layers of filling in between, so you can visually divide your entire filling on 2 parts. You don't need to make this layer extremely thick, just a thin, nice, even. And as you notice, I am not using fork to make holes in the dough. I would say this is perfect. If you like the video so far, definitely smash like to my channel. Next with the second layer of dough. Same technique. First I will heat a little bit to make a bigger disc. Gently and evenly. Now center towards myself, center away from me, and then to the sides. I will just do like so, and I will precisely position it right in here and right over the first layer. Perfect. There is a little bit of overlap, but that's no problem. After the baklava is ready, you can cut away the remaining sides and have them as a little snack. Now, if you are asking me, okay Ashot, where is the honey in this baklava? I don't see that. The honey is going to be applied as the honey syrup over the baklava, over the, I would say, semi half baked baklava, right in the middle of the baking process. So that's exactly what we needed for the filling, for the second layer of filling and for the last layer of filling. But remember, in the beginning of the video I placed an overlay with the reminder that we will also need around 150 grams extra of walnuts, which we need to keep whole. We don't need them to be sliced or chopped, just keep extra 150 grams. We will need them right just in a moment when we will place the third and last layer of the dough. So this is going to the side. I am back with my silicone mat, a little bit of dust, the same size. I don't know if you have noticed, but the dough is actually perfect today. It's very soft, very flexible. The butter does not crumble. You see, there is not even a single crack anywhere. It's excellent, it's perfect. And I will cover just like so. I have 3 egg yolks here. I will take a brush and I will just, and you don't want to have your oven extremely hot, because then the baklava will be just brown from all the sides, but it may not be very well cooked. So around 220 degrees with all the sides of your oven being turned on, if you have. It will also work very well if you have a gas oven, no problem. Alright, what I want to do right now, this is the important part of presentation, of visual appeal, if you will. I will just take something like a plastic spatula with a little bit of sharp edge, and I will just make lines, just not even cutting through the top layer, just making diagonal line like so, and then I will step aside and I will make the second line just like so. I can also use just an edge. Maybe this was too wide, so I will make it a little bit less, like so. I will also make it like so, and in here like so. So we continue, and I will try to preliminary mark my baklava and make the individual pieces appear like on the surface. You see, now I need to cut parallel to the baking sheet, and this will make a nice grid, and this will be the individual pieces. You see? Perfect. Now I'm not cutting through the top layer, I am only making grid on the surface. And you can see now the individual pieces like a diamond shaped, and in the center you can make a little press like so, and here we will place, when the baklava will be halfway through baked in the oven, here in this nice central holes we will place wall pieces of walnuts for decoration. That's it. I will place this into my hot oven. Alright, yeah, and it goes into the oven. So baklava spent in the oven around 15-20 minutes. I'm ready to take it away and start decoration, and you will be able to see the exact condition of baklava which is required at this stage of preparation. As you can see, it is not yet completely baked, but it doesn't have to be so. For decoration, I will use 100 grams of walnuts, which I prepared at the very beginning, and I will also use some honey, and I will make a honey syrup. Now I will take 2 tablespoons of honey. Alright, 1, 2, it will be enough. And I will take some hot water I have here in thermos. It looks enough for me, so I used maybe 200 grams out of 300 grams. Alright, my honey syrup is ready. And I will take again my plastic and a little bit sharp spatula. This time I will cut through the baklava a little bit more. Now I need to cut through the top layer again, following the same marks what I left, but I only need to cut through the top layer and let the syrup to penetrate inside. I will generously apply the syrup over the entire baklava. So I need to cut through and let a nice pass away, so then the baklava will become very juicy. Now we take the syrup and generously I am applying it over the entire baklava, and especially generously here at the cutouts. It will also make the surface nice and glossy and shiny. So now I take the whole pieces of walnut, and in these holes which I prepared, I can open them a little bit more and just insert the individual pieces of walnut as a decoration, like so. I would say that's it, and the only thing is left to let the baklava stay for another 10 minutes in the oven. Let's do that together, and it goes just like so. Alright, so I will be back in around 10 minutes, and then I will serve baklava and try it, and most importantly I will also check whether those 350 grams of sugar which I added into the filling of walnut was enough. If not, on my taste, then I will suggest that for the next time we will take like 50 grams of sugar more, or maybe 100 grams more. So stay with me and let's wait for another 10 minutes. So 10 minutes has passed and I can see that my baklava is ready. Let's take a look together and let's serve. Alright. That's the way the baked baklava should look like. The baklava will be served in the same diamond-shaped individual pieces. This makes it look very special. I will just use my same plastic spatula. Baklava is really soft. It feels too soft. That's because it is still really hot and because we used quite a bit of honey syrup. Now I will cut through diagonally. Let's take a quick look. Yeah. So that's the thickness, and I will eventually try this small piece. I would say you can stick to the recipe of 350 grams and 500 grams of walnuts. I am very happy. I advise you to keep the recipe, to try like that, and next time you can play more with the recipe and maybe even get yourself a 300 grams or maybe 400 grams of sugar per 500 grams of walnuts. Alright. Now let me show you how does the proper individual diamond shaped piece looks like. Here I used a little bit too much of convection in the oven, so that the fan blew the hot air a lot and made the topping, the top layer, very golden brown, whether the inside is not as baked as I would really want to. Okay, that's it. I think the diamond shape, that's the way to go. A walnut for decoration, egg yolk to make the topping and the top layer golden brown, and lots of honey syrup to make it look like nice and golden brown glossy baklava. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Definitely share this video with your relatives. and keep this recipe always in front of you for special occasions. Thank you for watching. It was a shot, it was my pleasure. I made lots of preparations today with all the lights available in my filming suitcase. Thank you again, subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. Bye.